The topic of this video is Wadsworth, Nevada, 30 miles east of Reno on the big bend of the Truckee River. Wadsworth has been lost in the dust of history, but was an important place in 19th century American history. From the 1840s to the 1860s, it was a major waypoint on the California Emigrant Trail due to water. From 1868, it made the first transcontinental railroad possible due to water. The water of the Truckee River at Wadsworth made travel possible across the 40-mile desert to the east. A horrific stretch lined with the graves of pioneers. Nevada is the driest state in the Union. Wadsworth is all about water. Let's take a look around Wadsworth. Here we are, about 2,000 feet above Wadsworth, looking north, watching the Truckee River wind along towards its destination, its terminus in the Pyramid Lake. It's all about water in the driest state in the Union. Standing on the sandy tablelands on each side of the Truckee River, we're looking down about 80 feet above the river right now. The sand that we're standing on was what they called the swales for the pioneers, and this is what gave them so much trouble that last 5 or 6 miles from the east. It's still a good place to get yourself bogged down. Another view almost directly across from the previous one. The trees down there are the location of the Truckee River. The Fernley and Lassen Railroad went right through those where those buildings are. Looking upstream at the Truckee River, we're standing on an old footbridge here. This bridge, there was a previous bridge here that where the Lincoln Highway crossed in the first decade of the 20th century. Looking downstream, it's about the normal level. On a nice fall day. At the abandoned Fernley and Lassen Railroad Bridge. This is the approximate location of the 1868 Central Pacific Bridge. You can still see some remnants and pilings here. This was built in 1912 and abandoned in about 1962. Looking at the abutment, that white area up there, even 2 years ago there was a flood, and the water can be right up to the concrete there. A little south of Wadsworth is the 1903 Southern Pacific realignment that caused the abandonment of Wadsworth as a railroad center. It's still got to climb up through the sand to get up to Fernley and start crossing the 40-mile desert. As you can see, it's quite a bit higher than the Truckee River Valley below, where Wadsworth is. Didn't have to do that. rapid climb that needed helper engines. On the right is the area called Big Bend. It was a major stop for the pioneers after crossing the 40-mile desert. This is the Big Bend area where the pioneers got out of the 40-mile desert and staggered down to the Truckee River. What the woman said looked like heaven after she crossed the hell. Still a major east-west passage right next to Wadsworth, Interstate 80. Looking towards the north, the Truckee River goes under the freeway. The Pavra Range to the west, going in the direction up the lower Truckee Canyon to Reno. Up on the left is the railroad, and right above that is the Truckee Canal going to Lake Lahontan. A fall view with a little more color in the trees. Looking north, coming back around to the trusty old Land Cruiser that gets us out in these places. Coming down the old Central Pacific route that was abandoned in 1902. This is how they came into Wadsworth from the east. When you look at this, this was all done basically by 10,000 Chinese men, mostly handwork, picks and shovels, no real machinery. They had some horses with scrapers and some carts. It is just amazing to look at this nowadays when you see how things are done. How much human labor was involved here. This behind us is 2 Mile Station, and that's one of the reasons that they abandoned Wadsworth. It was just quite a climb up there. They had to get about 100 feet up in 2 miles, and they needed an actual what they used to call a helper station to get up here. They had a steam engine down in Wadsworth that would just pull trains up, and on the way down it would help them brake. Braking was the real problem in those days. Not going uphill, getting downhill alive was the problem. Coming into what's left of Wadsworth, over on the right was the location of both the Central Pacific and later the Southern Pacific. On the right is the Fernley and Lassen bridge, the abandoned bridge. There's no tracks here. We're now crossing the Truckee River. You saw that bridge in an earlier clip. Right here on the right was the location of the Central Pacific shops and division point. There were 8 tracks on at this location. It was a very busy place. Leaving Wadsworth, we're coming up on the intersection that goes over to Pyramid Lake in the Black Rock Desert. There are tens of thousands of burners going to the Burning Man festival at that intersection. West of Wadsworth, the highway is right on top of the old Central Pacific grade. We're looking towards the Truckee River Canyon. At the end of this straight stretch, the highway joins with Interstate 80 that goes to Reno. There's not much left of those who came before us, just a few things left in the drifting sands. Like this 57 caliber copper rimfire, perhaps shot by a Civil War veteran using his rolling block Spencer. Or another pioneer using his Henry. Perhaps a woman's prized possession. Things left in the sands of the past. Another woman's last worldly possession. Minnie B. died at the age of 29. A lot of young people here. Childbirth, typhoid. But she leaves us a message. Blessed are the pure in heart. And I'll finish it after all these years. For they shall see God. From Matthew chapter 5, verse 8. The Truckee River keeps rolling along like it has for 12 million years. It's actually twice as old as the Grand Canyon, which is around 6 million years. It's not as impressive as the Colorado River, but it's had twice as much time to roll along, going back and forth between the mountains, wearing down the valley. It'll keep rolling long after we're all gone. It's all about water. Water for indigenous people, Native Americans. Water for Euro-Americans, pioneers driven here by manifest destiny to settle the American West. Water for the 21st century, whatever climate change may bring for people in the 21st century, the earth will do fine. The water will keep flowing. It's all about water.